Hi guys, welcome to my video. And have I got a film review for you? From the Best International Feature Film long list, the one film that I've been most excited to see, Joachim Trier's Sentimental Value. This follows up his multiple Oscar-nominated The Worst Person in the World, and he teams up once again with the leading lady that is Renate Reinsve. Here she plays a woman who is a stage actress who suffers from various mental health issues and conditions, including anxiety. And she has this sisterly support from her younger sister, Agnes, played by, and forgive the pronunciation, Inga Isdota Lies. Following the death of their mother, the sisters come together, realizing they may have to build bridges with their estranged father, played by the wonderful Stellan Skarsgard, who is a director who is desperate for Nora to be cast as the leading actor in his film. After Nora turns down the role, he turns to this young American actress, Rachel, played by Ellen Fanning, who wants to take on a more serious art house role. However, as she observes the family dynamics, she realizes the role isn't necessarily for her and it should be played by Nora. The film covers multiple themes, from the idea of understanding that your parents are fallible and aren't perfect, to can you actually reconcile with estranged parents who have caused havoc and distress to yourselves during your life. Sentimental Value picked up the Grand Prix prize at this year's Cannes Film Festival and is tipped to be nominated for multiple Oscars in January, including for Best International Feature Film, where it has been submitted by Norway. So let's dig a little deeper into this film. So if you're new to my channel, my name is Paul, and I review the best of world cinema, and I follow the race for Best International Feature Film, from countries selecting their submission to the final winner. After the success of The Worst Person in the World, it could be quite easy for Joachim Trier to reproduce a very similar film, especially using the same leading actress. However, in Sentimental Value, he manages to set a film apart from it, while also maintaining that sense of auteur style that he delivers. Sentimental Value has a much more somber tone, but with moments of great comedy, and that is what brings its uniqueness to the fold. It explores a range of questions about relationships between parents and their children. Should you reconcile with your parents after you've had such a challenging childhood with them, and go beyond that sense of duty? And also, parents can often leave scars on yourselves, and should you forgive them and build those bridges and rekindle a sense of relationship that is very different from a parent and their child. Nora is the character that bears these scars left by her absent father. She has great mental health issues. She has huge bouts of anxiety and depression. In fact, the film opens with a scene where she's about to go and perform on stage, yet she suddenly is anxious and won't do it, and needs persuading to do so. And the great thing about Sentimental Value is it manages to showcase this as part of her characteristics that she has kept on from this challenging childhood parent relationship. It never mocks mental health issues, but also manages to incorporate comedy within it. The opening scene is extremely comedic, but it's never punching down on people with anxiety or what other mental health issues. And there are other great comic moments. So, for example, Skarsgard's character gives his grandson 2 DVDs for presents. His grandson's about 6, and the DVDs include Michael Haneke's The Piano Teacher, completely inappropriate. They don't even have a DVD player anymore. And it's showcasing both this comedy of awkwardness because the father's not really understood what's appropriate for the child or even thought about what the child might want. Instead, it's enforcing his own identity and how he sees himself. But at the same time, it's extremely funny because you just should not give this sort of stuff to a child. But also it shows this love of cinema and cinema history that is dotted throughout the film as well. So many cinematic references are made. The acting in this film is superb, and I imagine there's going to be a handful of acting nominations when the Oscar nominations are announced in January. Of course, one of these is the Oscar-nominated Renate Reinsve, who plays Nora and delivers this very sensitive, very understated performance of the lead character, who has a number of mental health conditions, but she never overplays them. They're never overacted. They're never overdramatized. She handles them really sensitively and in a manner that is very respectful. And I think this is why she is one of the leading actors of her generation, because she just exists in this character. In fact, you would easily think this is her based upon her naturalistic and understated performance. Lily's manages to match her in terms of her performance as the supporting youngest sister, Agnes. She does the calmness and caring role of the film. She is the mother to her child. She is really the de facto carer for her sister. And you sense the love that she brings to the current dynamics of the family. Fanning, who's playing the American actress Rachel in this film, is very good as well. She manages to really portray that sense of a Hollywood big budget style actress who's desperate to be taken seriously and not just sexualized or put into poorly written big budget blockbusters. She wants to be in something meaningful, and that's why she is very attached to this film. It could have been really easy to portray her as a very loud, brass American who has not necessarily that much empathy. However, she's a very observant character in this film. She watches the family dynamic and she can see that actually the part should not be for her, it should be for Nora, because it's written for Nora. Stellan Skarsgard plays the dad wonderfully, and it's probably the performance that's going to give him multiple nominations in Best Supporting Actors categories over the next few months. His role as that absent father that comes back, but without necessarily understanding what hurt he has caused in the family dynamic, and him trying to progress into a new relationship is fascinating in this film. Like all the characters, he contains some element of flaws, and it would be quite easy to write him as some evil dad who's not been there, who's just trying to reconnect with them. And I get the sense that actually all the characters have their own flaws, some more than others, but they also have redeeming points. So all four of them are really complex characters. And the film really successfully, with these great performances, explores your own judgments about what the relationship should, or if it should exist, and what should it be like. And the script is so well written. It brings all this together so well. There's a theatrical element to it, which really complements this understated performance by them all. And this, therefore, makes it work and brings it to the next level of cinematography. It also utilizes these long silences, ensuring that the tension is brought out effectively, and every silence in there is meaningful and has a purpose and adds value to the film. There is quite standard cinematography with moments of beauty, but the thing that really pops out is this house that they have grown up in, and that is a key character in the film itself. It feels very strong and stable and imposing, and the film almost uses it as a character of saying, should it always remain like that? Can we give it a new lick of paint? Will it change, or will it fall down? And all these elements to it, which kind of brings this great sense to the piece itself. This is Norway's official submission for the 98th Academy Award for Best International Feature Film. And I would say it is probably the favourite, or at least within the top three front runners. And I think it's a shoo-in for at least getting a nomination, as well as multiple nominations in acting categories, script, and director, and maybe even best film. I feel the Academy often every year decide this is the moment we're going to recognise a particular international director. So if you look at Another Round, for example, when Denmark won a few years ago for Thomas Winterberg, that was the moment of recognising his body of work through one of his commercially successful / great films he's produced. Norway are one of the most successful countries at the Oscars to have never won the Oscar. They have had 6 nominations and 3 additional shortlistings, including last year's Armand, which made the shortlist, and of course the famous The Worst Person in the World, which got a nomination. Despite the lack of Oscar success, Norway overall are the 19th most successful country of all time, but their recent trend of doing well sees them as the 9th most successful country in the last 10 years. For me, there is no doubt that Norway will make the shortlist, and no doubt it will get a nomination. And I still think it's the frontrunner to win Best International Feature Film. I would therefore give Sentimental Value 5 stars. Have you seen Sentimental Value? If you have, put in the comments below, what did you think, and do you think it will win the Oscar? For more news and reviews for the Best International Feature Film Academy Award, please do subscribe to Global Film Pool. Thank you very much for watching, and I hope to see you again soon.